Hi, I'm Robert Noel, and welcome to Guitar Time. This is a really deep subject and a series that is all to do with phrasing. Well, if you've heard the term before, you may have heard it in school or college, how you phrase. How do you express? What feeling do you put into the sentence or paragraph? If you're reading a storybook or a science book or whatever, how are you going to read this to your listener? Are you going to put the expression marks in certain places? Do we use commas, periods, explanations, question marks, dot, 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 semicolon? It has to do with the expression. Do you want to read it really slow? Some people talk like really slow. Some people have the hippie, hey dude, far out, yeah, it's groovy, man. Or, as you know, some people talk real fast, and it's just the way they talk all the time. They talk fast. They're always in this hyper thing. So that's a way to talk, different speeds. Sometimes we decrescendo and crescendo. Crescendo is like I'm talking now, I'm getting louder, and yes, I'm expressing more. Maybe I'm even yelling. Or maybe I'm starting real loud and I'm now getting a little softer. You got to talk with the feeling. Yeah, you got to feel it. Phrasing needs to be felt. It's the nuances, the emotion that's so important. So we need to go on journeys, adventures to make discoveries. How to speak. We need to learn to create phrasing rhythms. It's not only single notes or cliches or riffs or melodies, but we also phrase the way we strum our rhythms, the way we play bass lines, the way we play arpeggios. When you work on your scales, you don't want to mechanically play them all the time. You want to phrase them sometimes. If I'm mechanically, it's just every note is the same. If I phrase that, okay, so we can phrase it. We can use the louds and softs, the pauses, the speed up, the slow down. So there's a lot of, I would say, styles of phrasing to do with some of the techniques and skills you have. And maybe we need to improve and learn more skills. But the skills of bending, of sliding notes, different types of techniques. And you might even invent some new techniques. By going on, like we want to learn how to phrase, you're going to have to go on journeys. You're going to have to go on adventures to make discoveries, to see how you can phrase. Listen to how someone else's phrases something. Ask them, hey, how do you play this? Listen to how they speak it. What emotion and feeling do they have in it? This is the art. This is the art of the great bluesmen that I studied so much when I was a kid. Like B.B. King has a certain way of phrasing. Albert King, Freddie King. They all have a way of phrasing. This is what's great. It's what makes the music come alive, or the style come alive, or what one is trying to say come alive. With Albert Collins, that cold feeling. Some guitar players have a very warmness to their style. So here we're talking about temperature now in phrasing. What if we talk about the coloration? Warm tones, yellows, oranges, reds, blue, aqua, purple, violet, those tones, the pink. Colorations, yes, colors have tones and feelings to them also. So how are we going to speak this sentence? How are we going to read it? How do we want our listener to interpret and understand our feelings, our emotions, through how we phrase? It's how we play the rhythm, how we strum. It's how we invent, how we create. Same thing with arpeggios and single note lines. So if I take that one riff, as you remember, an opening riff that's a classic, I can phrase that a lot of different ways. So I got the vibratos, the slides, the speed. Maybe I start real slow. Soft. Build it up. So many ways to phrase. And this is what makes certain guitar players or any instrument, any musician, it's how they phrase. It's this, how have they learned to phrase? What have they listened to? Who's influenced the way that they phrase? Are they coming up with their own feelings from what they feel in their heart? How they want to interpret the rhythm, the riff, the melody. How do they want to phrase it? The phrasing is so important. This is what I think, well, I know makes great musicians, great guitar players. When I hear them phrase something, not just playing a riff of really fantastic technique, but do they follow that? Does that continue? Do they phrase? Is it a phrasing that I like, that I feel, that I can, that appeals to me? Okay? So phrasing's really a great subject. We're going to be doing quite a few videos that I've got in store about phrasing, because you need to be able to phrase to songs. You need to be able to practice this. So with my students, with Guitar Time, we use the iReal, and I have suggested certain tracks that I have that can be a background for us to work on phrasing. But it could be anything. It could be jam tracks of any type that you have, that you're going to play, have your background, and you work on your phrasing. It's something you have to think about until phrasing becomes natural. But I might also say that phrasing has to do with the mood you're in. What kind of mood are you in today? A happy mood? Medium mood? A toxic mood? A very negative mood? A mad mood? A crazy mood? So our moods can affect and should affect our phrasing. That's what makes the phrase a human feeling. Or maybe it's an artificial feeling. Maybe you're going to play on a feeling that, hey, I don't feel this way, but I'm going to play it this way. So this is the art of a great guitar player, a great musician, how they phrase. When you play with other musicians, how do you work with them? How do you interpret your phrasing of your rhythms and your style along with other musicians so that it works together? Okay, but maybe when you get your chance to solo, that's maybe a point for you to be able to shine and really show your phrasing, that you're playing from your heart. Yes, the heart. Playing from the knowledge and memories and moments that you've made in your life. And you're internalizing them and then bringing them to the instrument, and how you vibrato, how you bend notes. I got to phrase that different. So you can start to hear my phrasing. What if I put a background? I'm going to see if I can do a little talking with a couple simple riffs, going on an adventure, a journey, to make some discoveries. So sometimes you're going to hear me leave spaces because I always hear in good phrasing that people or the musician, the player, knows where to put spaces or experiments with it. Because sometimes it's more important where you don't play. And that takes a lot of practice not to play. To make the listener wait. Make yourself wait. Or put a thought of thinking before you play. So that space is so important. You should sing with your playing. Sometimes you'll hear me scat. So I'm making my riffs breathe, and I'm bringing that human touch into where scatting is when I sing the riff. So I'm scatting. I'm just singing a vowel, singing something, but to the pitch of the notes. So that helps me with the expression because I'm telling a story. I want to tell a story. I want to say the sentences. I want to put them together in paragraphs, in a chapter for you. Going on this journey, I'm going to see what kind of motifs I can create. Things to repeat the riff, to reinvent the riff, or idea, or rhythm it may be, or a bass line, or an arpeggio. A lot of this comes from practicing, and when I practice scales, we don't want to play them mechanical all the time. We want to phrase. Instead of just playing them mechanically. We want to learn to phrase things. We got to practice it. Okay, so here we go. Check this out. I'm going to do just a little bit of a groove in the key of G. And it's just going to be so that you can hear how I phrase against a certain speed, okay? It's just going to be repeating pretty much the same bars, okay? So you'll get to hear how I want to fit my riff into the jam, okay? So here we go. Check this out. distortion on there. Alright, so there's some ideas for you. I'm going to continue these videos, and some of the other videos will specialize on phrasing chords rhythms, and we may also do arpeggios and bass lines, and working on giving you ideas how to create, how to put your emotion into phrasing. Because this is the art. This is the greatest, well, one of the greatest things I think I can help teach you. And make you a guitar player that has, you have your own way of phrasing, maybe. Or maybe you're just considered a great phraser because people hear you play and they go, wow, hey, he's just not playing notes. He's feeling the notes. He's putting his heart into it. It could be the greatest lesson, the art of phrasing. So stay tuned. There's more to come, more lectures to come, and we're going to keep doing this. And hopefully I'm going to hear how you phrase someday. And this is what makes us unique, or can make us unique. So Robert Noel for Guitar Time. I'm glad you're here. Stay tuned for the next videos, okay? This is the Art of Phrasing series.